Hello, welcome to the Harlem Fine Arts Show. And who do we have here today? The man in charge, Dion Clark. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what made you start the Harlem Fine Arts Show.
This is a labor of love, and it's just a great labor of love, just to be able to bring so much art, so many artists from all around the world to be able to come in one central point, and that's the cultural capital of the world, Harlem, to celebrate Black History Month. We've been around for about 3 years, and you've been so kind to bless everybody to come in and bring your artwork for the last 3 years. It's just been a great show. We impact the community, we give back, we do a great deal of outreach in regards to, we do a day just for the kids in terms of Diversity Prep Day, we do a day for the movers and shakers, and then we open up our doors for everyone for the following couple of days after that.
So what made you use this venue for your business? What shall I say, a way of encouraging our culture? What made you use art? What brought you to art?
Well, art is universal. Art is something for everybody. It cuts all different boundaries, race, color, creed. It cuts age, generics, all of that type of stuff. And it really just kind of makes you a little bit wholer. So I thought that art would be a great way to give people what we call cultural nutrition throughout the world. And here, it starts at Harlem Renaissance and New Harlem Renaissance now.
And you heard it from Dion Clark, the king of the show. I thank you very much for accepting our interview and giving back to your community through the visual arts.
It's my pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you now and in the future for sure, Sadikisha.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now. Great.
Okay, thank you. Hello, welcome to the Harlem Fine Arts Show. And this is my baby sister, my great sister friend, artist extraordinaire, Verna Hart. Please.
Thank you.
Now tell me, what brings you here today?
Well, first of all, I feel like I made a full circle. I'm a Harlemite, born, bred, and buttered in Harlem, is what I like to call myself. And coming home with your artwork is just a full circle. It feels like the thing to do. So I'm very proud to be from Harlem, as well as being here right now representing my creative family, one of many creative people here today.
Let me tell you something about Verna. When I met her, she had these little earphone things in her ear. And she loved jazz, you know? I'm a little older than her, and I always thought she was kind of young to be liking jazz like that, but she was a jazz buff. And to this day, most of her work is influenced by jazz. And I thought that her art, the colors, are just wonderful. You know, I don't know many other people who really have a natural genius for color. And so tell me a little bit more about your work.
Well, this particular piece here is called They Loved Us, and it depicts a jazz performance at Grant's Tomb on the Jazzmobile. And the Jazzmobile is basically this open trailer that would bring jazz to neighborhoods in New York. From borough to borough, it would feature who's who in jazz on this trailer. And this particular performance, I tell you, it was just great to capture because the people were there, the music was live, the energy was great, and I wanted to capture the fact that the audience loved the performance, and that's why I entitled it They Loved Us.
Yes. Now, Verna loved music so much, she named her children after famous musicians, jazz musicians.
I did. My oldest daughter, her name is Yubi, as in Yubi Blake, and I always tell her that the person that she is named after was a great jazz pianist who lived to be 100 years old. And she's very proud of that.
Aren't you a protege of Romeo Bearden?
Yes, Romeo Bearden was one of my greatest inspirations as a creative person. And when I was a very young artist, he came to my first one-woman show and purchased my work. So to have your favorite artist come to your show and buy a piece of yours was the greatest compliment. So I'll never forget his support.
And she has a Romeo Bearden in her home.
I do.
I saw it myself.
Yeah. I do. And my son's name is Romeo as well.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Too? Yeah.
Yes.
What drives you to do music and jazz and stuff like that. What drives you?
Well, as an artist, I feel we have visual voices. We have something to say visually, but musically, jazz to me speaks about us as a people as well. And so to combine both mediums, both jazz and music, is something I love doing because I feel that the elements in jazz are also in fine art. So I find great pleasure and joy in combining the two, so that the sounds that you see, you can actually hear as well as feel.
Now, if you was to think about your legacy as an artist, as a human being, what would you want people, or young people, or older people, to remember and respect about you?
I would like for folks to look at my work and realize that I tried to capture a moment in time, a musical moment in time, and to appreciate the fact that I dedicated my life doing it. And I hope that I made a visual, I'm going to say, contribution and difference in representing us as a people.
My girl, my favorite sister girl, Berna. Peace. Well, I want you to know how I met this young sister, this prolific artist, Berna Hart. I was at the Fulton Art Fair one summer, and she came over to me, something that she saw in me that she liked. So then one day she came and she said, Sadikisha, let's go to Italy. Now I'm thinking, I want to go to Africa. First. But she's like, come on, we're going to get credit from Pratt. So she was just cute and just as bubbly, and, you know, she was motivating me. So I said, okay, I'll go to Italy, right? We went to Italy. We was the only artists with Pat working, you know?
That's true. That's true.
And Berna had her earphones in, and she was jazzing up. She didn't pay no attention but her jazz. And you know what? It's a very rare occasion, or either I was privileged, to hear Berna sing. And she has a beautiful, beautiful voice. And I kept telling her, come to New York and sing. No! But that's where we bonded, and that's where we became sisters, you know. And if you want to talk about
That's true.
it.
There we were, way out in Venice, Italy. Sadikisha and I getting on boats and gondolas, taking us everywhere.
They love black women.
Yes, they did. We felt like queens in Italy
I
because
got
we were.
so many free gondola rides and stuff. I was sitting down there like Picasso and then Berna. I said, come on, let's go into the gondola, you know. But I wasn't used to that. She had tight body and everything. I had to, you know what. And time them people were sitting down eating, they stop everything, go. And it started getting to me after a while.
That's true. I felt like a celebrity because everywhere we went, it was a big deal. And just from being black and beautiful. But hey, that's what God gave us, right?
Yeah.
So there we were in Italy painting up a storm, and we had a wonderful summer together. We really did.
And I'll never forget it, you know?
Yes.
And also when she came to Restoration and she did one of those pieces over there. Come on, let's go over to this piece. This piece I watched her work on. I remember you had set a fire, right, in your studio?
Yes, I did.
And I said, Berna, come on over to Restoration and paint. And she had all these big cans of paints, and she was just like, little. I used to say, we could look kind of doofy together because I would always have the small pieces of art. And she'd come with all these huge paintings. I said, maybe we should switch because I'm big and you small. You know? But I guess the big people want to be small, and the small people are huge.
That's right. That's
so
right.
it was
Opposites
like,
attract.
you know, she's huge in her own way, you know, so I just thank the Lord.
Thank you.
I watched her grow, and she's just like one of the top female artists out there to be reckoned with. You know, she's really, really talented.
Thank you.
You know, and I'm really proud.
And I'm proud to be in her family, creative family. We got the same DNA. That's right.
Is there anything else you want to say?
I just want to thank you guys for just, you know, making artists shine by interviewing us and making us feel great about what we do. Thank you.
And the thing is, we have to support each other, you know. I mean, a lot of times other people be writing our stories and stuff, and they don't really respect us as artists.
That's right.
And when you go through the same struggle as another artist, you know, you want them to shine. That's why I do the producing thing. That's why Melvin does the producing thing.
Excellent.
It's because a lot of times people use our art to make the environment cultural, but they don't respect us.
That's right.
And so I just want to give homage and respect to
And you do it well.
the black artists. It's my baby. It's my baby.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Welcome to the Harlem Fine Arts Show. And we are here with the king of Harlem, Sir Shadow. And what makes him very special is he takes one line and creates a masterpiece.
Let me show you. I'm trying to pull up a little bit. Bang, bang. Bang, 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 ba-doo, bang, bang. Da, ba-doo, da, bang. Ba-ba-doo, da-doo, da, bang. Ba-dun, dun, dun, dun. She came that night to hold me tight. She says I was the man.
His thing is music, too.
Really not music. I call myself a doctor, and this is my medication.
One line.
What I'm really doing is writing. Stay strong, be about something, have a purpose in life. Be you. Remember when the sun shines, the spotlight.
Look at the magic he creates.
Enjoy life while you got life to enjoy. I meet opportunity halfway. That's why I want people to know. Everybody want opportunity, but nobody want to do no action. You got to do something in order to make opportunity work for you. So remember, art is really drama turned inside out. You gotta know how to use the drama. You just can't be sitting up there complaining. Use the drama. Make something out of it. Everybody can complain, but the artists are here, or those that have gone on. Sure, everybody have problems, flat tires, cars overturning, friends dying, missed opportunities happening. But that's not no excuse why you can't continue to dance, continue to sing, continue to write, continue to do something positive. Because I create before the pain slips away, knowing that knowing that art makes
that's beautiful.
Life makes art out of tragedy and upsets. It's up to me to become a victim or an artist. So I choose to become an artist rather than complaining and sitting around finding reasons to blame and complain. This is my mission. I'm Sir Shallow. My website is sirshallow.com. Check me out. My email is sirshallow2001. All my messages is about empowering, uplifting, and inspiring others. My work don't start on paper, nor does it end. And you have to live this. You have to be positive. You have to be about helping and sharing and giving. So that's how this would develop. I'm just a soldier of the truth, passing on my wisdom.
Thank you so much, Sir Shadow, artist extraordinaire.
To be continued.
The king of the line.
I like to turn all my artwork that I do into shirts, pillowcases, blankets, put the art on all different designs. Because I want to, this is another thing, I want to be able to brand my work so I can raise funds to help other artists out. I think my work is universal and a lot of people appreciate it. So with the funds and connections that I bring, would be about helping inspire others to stand strong and carry on with their particular creative endeavor. So all those out there that may want to see this as an investment, come on, call me. I'm down for any opportunity that may come my way. Like I said, I meet opportunity halfway.
Thank you.
Inhale.
Hello. Right now, we are so privileged to have one of the queen of arts, visual arts in the African American community, and that's Dinga McCannon. Hi, Dinga.
Hey, how you doing?
And what brings you here today?
Well, today I'm an exhibitor at the Harlem Fine Arts Show.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell me what inspired you to be an artist and at what age?
Well, I think it was another artist, we were like 12 at the time, who did tempera paintings, and I always drew as a kid, but once I saw her tempera painting, it was something about the way the color and the paper looked and all of that. It made me say, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to be an artist. So that was over 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Now, what main medium did you draw to first?
At first, I did drawing and painting, the traditional art forms. When I was about 16, I started playing around with fiber arts, and then at that point, I was also a wearable art maker, and that allowed me to combine the painting, the drawing, and the cloth.
Mm-hmm. And name some of the people who have some of your wearable art and your art.
Oh boy, half of everybody in New York has the clothing. Let me see. I'm in the Smithsonian collection. Carolyn Maslumi, she has one of my pieces. I'm also in Procter and Gamble, the Studio Museum in Harlem, and several other places. Studio Museum in Harlem. That's right. They got one of my pieces too. So, and a lot of really nice people who bought from me over the years and kept me going.
Now, when you think of themes in your work, let's take a look at some of the pieces over here. Can you tell us about some of the pieces?
Okay, basically, as an artist, my work is basically woman-centered. Because as a woman, I want to tell my own stories. Like, for example, this piece up top, that's Bessie Smith. And I've always been gravitated towards Bessie Smith, one for the way that she sang and also for the clothing that she wore, because when she went on stage she was regal like a queen. The gowns, the colors, the lights, and the glitter, I loved it. This piece down here is called Miss 60's Wish List. This woman portrayed here is over 60 years old, and these are some of the things that people who are older, you know, your priorities change a little bit. Things like free health insurance, world peace, senior discounts, education for all women and girls, and the end of police brutality, because many of us, you know, you would think that shouldn't be an issue now, but this has been going on, it looks like, since the turn of the century, and it's as recent as last week. So that's some of the things that people over 60 think about.
And some of these pieces?
Okay. This long piece here, this is called Harlem Memoirs, and this is part of a series which eventually is going to be big enough to fill a room. And what happened is that as the eldest person in my family now, I inherited all the stuff. Bills, photos, cards, all kinds of memorabilia, and it sat in the studio for like 10 years, and finally I decided, well, let me try making a collage out of it. And once I got started, this kind of kept going, and it reminded me that a lot of times when people pass, everything they've ever had, people, the rest of the family throws it out, and I always felt that some of these things should be kept because they're like pieces of history that are living and that they won't be anymore. You won't see any more Con Edison bills from the 20s, and the way that it's just an interesting way of looking at how things were done before the digital age. So,
and this piece here with those things hanging.
Okay, that piece is called, that always gets a lot of giggles and a lot of comments, because it's called I Don't Have a Husband, I Just Don't Have Time. And the idea behind this piece was that as a woman, many women think that, the life goal is to get a husband. To me, I think the life goal should be to fulfill yourself as a human being, and you can do that with or without a husband. Mm-hmm. And sometimes in the process of waiting to meet just the right person, you should be living and enjoying your life. Like the tags that are down there, these are some of the things that you can do as a single woman that people don't always think of as plus.
Not being so dependent on relationships,
right? Because relationships
with men and even just your sister friends, you be self-empowered and
there you go.
And just enjoy your life. I know older women, she just travels all over. She said, I'm never lonely. I travel all over.
Lonely,
so it's just how we look at things. We could look at the cup half full, or we could look at it half empty.
There you go.
So being a woman, from what you were saying through this piece, it kind of inspires me, because I'm at a little turning point in my life. Mm-hmm. But I still think I'm fine.
You
And
are.
I still think that, as long as I'm on this earth, God's going to continue to bless me with new relationships,
There you go.
new things that's going to be about a great spiritual connection, And so the thing is, we need to encourage each other, whether it be female, male relationships, whatever relationship. We as a people need to encourage each other.
This is true.
And I feel like you have to be dependent on someone to make you more of a whole woman or more of who you are,
It's true.
The Creator's the only one.
There you go. That's it.
So that piece I was feeling, like now in my time.
And like grandmother says, everything comes in its time. Now, this piece is the one that's hanging right over here. A couple of years ago, I've always done musicians because one of the reasons is because as an artist, we have these crazy hours. And a lot of the times, by the time I came out the studio, the only thing that I was able to do at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning is go hear some jazz. And so as a result of that, like this is Charlie Parker. I did for years and years and years images of musicians. One day I found out that somewhere between like 1920 and 1950, there were hundreds of all-women bands. And I said, oh my God, I never knew that. I never knew that women played untraditional instruments like the upright bass and saxophones and all that. And as I started to do research, I was so inspired that I did a series that's been going on for like 3 or 4 years discussing these women. And this particular piece is called Women in Jazz, circa 1920 to 1950. I drew an image of an all-women band, and then the tags that are hanging from there, they have the names of individual artists and the instrument that they play, because this is my way of letting the community know some of the wonderful things that we've done that people don't always talk about.
Dinga, artist extraordinaire, queen of black art in New York. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello. Welcome again to the Harlem Fine Arts Show. And here today we have Pancho Brown, a prolific artist, young brother who just be doing his thing in a wonderful, strong way. What brings you here today?
I always try to support anything that's on the East Coast that's going to try to cultivate the arts. New York is a great center for me. Atlanta, Georgia, Philadelphia. So whenever I get an opportunity to come to New York to do shows, I try to participate. This is my second year participating in this particular show. But we've had some pretty nice shows historically originating here from New York.
Well, what drives you to do your work, to be an artist? When did you find out that you had this talent and you wanted to just explore it?
Whenever you talk to artists, you hear them say that they started doing it around 4. So that's when I started realizing that I had something. I went to a vocational high school where I learned how to do graphic design. And from that point, I never had to worry about money. I learned how to do the business. I learned how to do entrepreneurship. And so making a transition into fine art was actually kind of easy for me because I was used to selling myself at an early age. And I started my first business when I was 17.
Oh, excellent.
So this is
and he's definitely a businessman. He travels all over the country with his work. He lives off his art. He's like a mentor to me too.
Yeah, well, I've been a professional artist for 33 years now. And so I've watched a lot of the changes. It continues to change. But we still have a revolving door of new people coming in and starting to appreciate the work. And so any opportunity I get to come and really touch the community, I take advantage of it.
Now, when you think about your work, what themes or what kind of images drive you?
I'm not limited. You got some artists that do one style or a derivative of one style, and you have artists that do multiple styles. And I would be classified as a multiple style artist. I have a short attention span, so it does show up in my work. Yeah, but the energy in the work is that there's a consistency to it. I do serious pieces that deal with civil rights, the struggles that we have. I also have pieces that are
Where's the civil rights one?
Yes, I mean I have pieces.
This one?
Yes, I have a lot of pieces here that are. This is done with publications from the 70s. Some of the civil rights publications from the 70s. I use it a lot in the work. It's got a great coloration to it, the yellowish color. But I use those in a lot of my work. And I do pieces like behind me, the jazz pieces. Most of these pieces were done for nonprofit organizations, for different arts festivals across the country. This is done for the Second Street Festival. I actually did their poster for them for 4 years in a row. And so I get around, but the work can flow a lot of different directions. You just got to look for the name. If you try to track the stylization, you might get a little misguided.
You're doing great. This piece here with all the, it's sort of like abstract, and it's got a lot of movement in it.
Well, this is
like the music.
This is another piece that was done for the Second Street Festival, like the one over there. This is their poster for last year. And so this is another style I've been working with on and off. It's actually a collage. It's about 3 levels of canvas on this. And I just treat it as collage because that's another collage there. So I do a lot of different styles of collages.
So why do you focus on African American or African Caribbean, the diaspora?
I don't think I don't have to focus on it. It's in me. If I closed my eyes and got put in the concentration camp, it would still come out. Yeah. And so I don't think we have to force ourselves to do anything. Some things you're just naturally inclined to do. When I started doing my work, I was doing science fiction and fantasy. I was forcing myself then because I was reaching for stuff that I couldn't relate to, you know. So it's a whole different ball game when you shut it down and start doing what was naturally your direction, and then put your own fingerprint on it. So, and I think also as I got older, I began to realize that there's so many different ways to celebrate who we are. If you look at TV right now, it's negative. If you look at movies right now, we're underrepresented. If you look at music, it's really shifted far, far away from where it used to be. And I'm African American artist, one of the few places you can get totally 100% positive representations of who we are. And to me, that's powerful. And so any chance I get a chance to do that, I'm on board.
Well, I'm very proud of him because I think that we as artists can do so many other things. We're geniuses. And when we take the time to preserve our culture, what a wonderful, wonderful thing. People should be bowing down to us.
Well, I believe they don't have to bow down, but just become a part of it. It's designed with us in mind. You know, when you see something that's a reflection of you, if it doesn't move you, go to the nearest hardware store, buy yourself a shovel, and just dig yourself a 6x6 and leave. Because you'll be moved when you walk through this building by all the things that are representations of who we are.
That's true. So. And this piece here, these pieces here, tell us about these.
Well, these are actually a line of ponchos that I created. I figured I would come up with a nice marketing scheme.
Poncho, brown.
Yeah. So I started a line of ponchos. All of them had my signature on it. And
thank you so much for tuning in to the Sadikisha Show. And I hope it was very informative and that you learned to have a little extra feeling of appreciation for the visual arts. Peace.